say it, don't think it.
Don't say it, don't think it! Don't say it, don't think it! Don't say it, don't think it! Don't say it, don't think it!
Will you just shut up? Okay, I get it. Don't say it, don't think it. Don't say it, don't think it. Don't say it, don't think it. I get it. Why do you feel a need to repeat the same thing throughout this freaking movie? I get it. Shut up. Hey there, everybody. This is 22 Tiger Dude here, and I am here with
the Auburn Wanderer.
And we're going to both be reviewing The Bye-Bye Man.
Yes, sure.
So, The Bye-Bye Man is directed by Stacy Title, and the film is written by Jonathan Penner, who is actually Stacy Title's husband, and the film stars Douglas Smith.
Basically, you have these three college kids. They rent out a home, and this home may have some spooky elements to it, and let's just say that a lot of spooky stuff starts to happen, including death, murder, family issues, and sex. And it's rated PG-13, so what do you expect?
So I didn't see this movie in theaters. I actually watched it with Auburn along with Kevin Falk and Adam Haskell. You can check out their reviews on their channels. But yeah, we watched The Bye-Bye Man together, and you know, yeah, The Bye-Bye Man, I was dreading this film. I sat through the trailer like 15 times in the theater. But of course, I still went in with an open mind, hoping maybe it's not exactly as bad as I'm maybe thinking it'll be. And no, it's as bad as I thought it was going to be. This movie is freaking god-awful. I honestly hated this movie. But Auburn, before we do get into our negatives, let's be positive for a sec.
I guess this could be a positive. That the movie wasn't boring. It was entertaining to watch. I could see this being a guilty pleasure because of just how ridiculous this movie is. And there was a pretty hot girl, emo-y, gothy girl in this movie who was pretty fine.
Yeah, until something happened, which we'll get into later.
Yeah, and yeah, I got pretty sad at that part. And that's when you know it's a bad movie. That's all I'll say.
For me, there wasn't really a lot, honestly. When I laughed most of the time, it was because of the social commentary that you guys would make when we were watching it together. But I will say, if I were to make it positive, yes, here and there were unintentionally funny moments. Not really a whole lot of it for me, but sometimes the movie did have some, like, okay, I'll give you that. You actually made me laugh there. The cinematography, sometimes it looked decent. If that's all I can really say, because the cinematography for the most part really isn't that good to me. And then last, I'll say the little girl, in my opinion, is the only actor I felt was giving at least a decent performance. And the actress's name is Ellie Tremblay. That's all I can really say as far as positives go with The Bye-Bye Man.
This movie's like a PG-13. And what do you expect? Honestly, this film is nothing special. It just takes inspiration from other already done great horror stories. And a lot of people say this is a very interesting concept. Well, a lot of aspects of this concept have been explored in other stories, like It and Insidious. So it's nothing special. It makes the film predictable. This movie is very predictable, which in return, you don't really care about the characters. The characters of this movie are extremely unlikable. You don't give a shit about them. And I don't really think the mythology of this movie is that interesting either. There's nothing really thrilling about this film at all. The CGI, the visuals are awful. There's nothing impressive about the cinematography of this movie, in my opinion. There's nothing scary. All the jump scares don't work. And you know you get sad when, this movie is awful.
A certain death scene happened regarding that emo girl he talked about earlier.
I was so sad. I was so sad. That was one fine-looking woman, and I was so sad. Oh God.
Well, I'm sorry that bummed you out, man.
Yeah, like the idea of like seeing things that aren't really real but explored in other stories, specifically it really isn't that original. So it's nothing really special. It's just a generic PG-13 horror film that tries to make some interesting mythology and it doesn't fucking work.
Yeah, what can I really say about this dreadful, and I mean absolutely dreadful movie? Like, first of all, yes, what you said, the whole mythology really isn't interesting at all. Not only is it very uninteresting, but it's just so stupid. There's this thing about the whole don't think it, don't say it. But of course, when these characters are given warnings, they still go out of their way to find out more about the Bye-Bye Man. Even though they're aware it's dangerous, they still go for it. And there's even a point, well, there's even more than one point actually, where they'll say the name, the Bye-Bye Man, and the Bye-Bye Man doesn't even appear right away. These characters are not really unlikable, but they're just very stupid. I really was questioning what a lot of these characters are doing. The dialogue that comes out of their mouths are so poorly written. They're not believable whatsoever. There's a lot of overacting in this film, especially from the blonde girl. I think out of the three actors, because we're following three characters really, she's the one I felt was overreacting the most. Whenever these actors, I would say, try to provide emotion, it doesn't work at all. It feels incredibly forced. It feels so stupid. And when their movie is titled The Bye-Bye Man, like, really? That's what you're really going to call this slasher, The Bye-Bye Man? And I mean, Auburn, I think you agree with me. You know you're in trouble when you see an opening scene. Of course, I won't spoil what that opening scene is, but you know you're in trouble the minute that opening scene pops up.
The opening scene is extremely unintentionally funny.
Oh my God.
And I mean, when you're trying to make a horror film and your first scene is unintentionally funny, you've already failed because it's supposed to be this terrifying sequence, and it's not funny at all. And you make a good point with the Bye-Bye Man. What kind of name is that? It's nothing creative. I get the point of a name, but is that really the best you could come up with, the Bye-Bye Man? And on a side note, I think these horror films are starting to die down a bit because a lot of people in my school hate this film. They thought it was ridiculously stupid, and they've enjoyed a lot of these other PG-13, cheap little horror films, like The Forest, other numerous films. But I think that, teenagers are starting to get the hang of these films. So yeah, Bye-Bye Man just shows how the jerk that this movie is just by the title. But yeah, the first thing was extremely unintentionally funny, and it just sets up the entire movie to be awful.
Yeah. And like what you said, the movie is very predictable too. From the minute the movie opens, you're predicting, okay, it's going to happen to this character. This is what's going to happen. And honestly, everything that happens in this film, you can expect coming. Where they go with that final act, oh my goodness, that was just so terrible. You mentioned how the CGI was awful, especially with one particular shot that's towards the end that deals with the dog. It's like a dog looking thing. Wow.
Yeah, like the Bye-Bye Man's partner, whatever it is.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow.
I mean, that just shows how disrespectful it is because they know that these films can make a profit, and thank God they're dying because this movie was never $10 million. So.
Yeah. Oh, and not to mention, the movie actually even brings in Carrie-Anne Moss and Faye Dunaway in here.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my God, Carrie-Anne Moss, you're such a good actress. What are you doing in this film? You know your movie's bad when even she is bad. Even she couldn't even save this movie. The writing is incredibly lazy. The direction by Stacy Title was very messy. It goes all over the place. Even if it's something we've seen before, there still could have been something they could have done to make the Bye-Bye Man at least maybe tolerable. Because I did see glimmers of potential while watching this film, but because of how it was written, because of how everything was executed, and especially the editing and the way it was shot, like I said, the cinematography was decent. I can never say it was good, though. But, some shots I'm like, okay, that's decent, that's okay. But most of the cinematography, oh my goodness, even the lighting for cinematography was just incredibly bad. I'm surprised I haven't seen other reviews really bring this up, but the PG-13 rating for this film is incredibly false. Would you agree with that?
There were many moments in this film where I was shocked that this is PG-13. So you're telling me that the King's Speech is rated R, but this rated PG-13? The King's Speech has one scene of excessive swearing, but this film features sex, murder, and suicide, and other numerous things. And it's extremely gory and bloody at points, and extremely gratuitous. And you're talking about this is
Yeah.
PG-13, but the King's Speech, just because he swears a bit, is rated R.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I think there's like around 10 F-bombs in this film.
Yes, there's like 10 F-bombs in this movie, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I really don't get it. Like MPAA, like I know they have their moments of screwing up, but I feel like this is a movie where they really screwed up. This should have been rated R. They actually do show quite heavy nudity for a movie that's PG-13. And yeah, I just thought that was really stupid. Overall, The Bye Bye Man is as bad as I expected it to be. It has all the ingredients to make a poorly made horror film. The acting is terrible. The direction is incredibly messy. The editing is really poor. Even the cinematography, for the most part, there's just really nothing special in terms of how it was lit, in terms of how it was shot. The music is incredibly generic. And I was honestly very angry watching this because it was just, I just couldn't believe how stupid this film got. Yes, there were moments that were unintentionally funny, like the opening scene. There's a scene where a car flips over. That was probably the funniest scene to me. But for the most part, I was pretty angry at what I was watching because I could not believe how low they could stoop for such a movie. For me, it's 1 out of 4 stars. One of the worst movies I've seen of 2017. Just wow.
I'm gonna give this film a 2 out of 10 because it is cliche, predictable, over the top, and it's just overall generic.
So, Auburn, thank you very much for joining me to review The Bye Bye Man.
No problem. Thank you for having me join.
And you guys, comment down below what you think of The Bye Bye Man. This is 22 Tiger Dude here with
The Auburn Wanderer.
And don't forget that we will always have
Tiger Power.
Tiger Power.
Yeah.